and that will increase or help with hair growth in that area. I don't know that to be true per se. I hate it here. I hate it here so much. So whenever you're watching content where someone's creating something or making some, just take it all with a grain of salt. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jack, or JC if you have been a long time subscriber here, but if you're new, welcome, glad to have you. You're good? All right, so let's just jump right into it. Terrible advice that people, hair gurus, have given. I am people, I am hair gurus, okay? This video is going to be filled with things that I may or may not have said myself at one point in time on this internet, okay? On Beyonce's internet. I might have said some of these things. I might have given this advice, but this is just to show that we are all growing, we are all learning, we are all experiencing things that we do to our hair and coming back to report on it. So whenever you're watching content where someone's creating something or making something or giving you advice on a way to do things to get a certain result, just take it all with a grain of salt. Just know that we are not the experts. We are in this vortex too. And if nothing has proven that to you, the amount of setbacks that natural hair gurus, people that are supposed to know, I guess, better and do better on the internet have experienced should tell you that we are all figuring this out and we are all making mistakes. I have had my fair share of setbacks. You already know if you have watched this channel long enough. Hair is broken off on multiple occasions, have turned it right back around, grown it back. These things happen. Speaking of, I do sell a natural hair growth oil if you are interested, and that's what I use pretty much to help me grow back my hair, as well as protective styling like on 100. So if you're interested in that, definitely click the link down below. Terrible advice number one that people I have given. Trimming. Trimming or cutting your hair will make it grow. Now at this point, I know we all know that is a myth, but why I'm putting this in here for me specifically is because there was a period of time when I was trimming my hair like crazy, okay, like crazy, like mad. And those of you guys that have watched my channel for a long time know this. For me, it was because my ends are just a bit crinkum crankum. They've always kind of bit like, not in the way that I want them to look. And it especially was clear after certain setbacks that I had in my journey. Because of breakage and unevenness, it just seemed like my ends were see-through. It seemed like they were just never getting better. So I went through a series of instances where I was trimming my hair literally every wash day. If you're new here, that is for me every 3 weeks. I would be trimming my hair every 3 weeks, which is a lot. But for me, it didn't really matter about the length. I just didn't like the way my ends looked. Now that worked out for what I was specifically trying to do, which is get rid of those dead ends without doing some sort of a big chop. That worked for me, but I think a lot of people that might have been watching might have taken on my approach. And now, okay, in time of reflection, in time of, you know, recalling, seeing, assessing, I've also realized that my hair, just naturally, the ends want to be crinkum crankum, okay? They want to be way, they want to be higi haga. That's just how my ends want to be naturally. I've realized this. That means for me, I could trim and trim and trim as much as I want to get rid of those ends, but they will continue to look that way unless I'm just more gentle with my ends. I don't know how to explain it, and I'm sure some of you have seen, there are just some people that their hair just naturally is like the same volume from beginning to end. They could do a 2-strand twist and it'll be like the same diameter the whole way down. And then there are a lot of people, especially with 4B 4C hair, that our ends tend to like taper off and thin off, and that's just the way it is. I'm sure probably with many other hair textures, it's just that those are the people that I watch. And I have noticed that some people have hair more similar to mine, meaning that it naturally tapers off, naturally gets more thin and more, you know, see-through towards the ends. And there are some with the same hair texture that it just seems like no matter what they do to their ends, no matter how rough they are to it, it's always just going to be just as thick as it is from the top. I'm not in that number, okay? I'm not in that number, so I actually have to be careful. I've also learned with years and years of dealing with my hair and trying different things and trying different methods, including the trimming, that my hair can accomplish that. It can look better. So even though it's naturally inclined to be that way, there's like the stage where it's like really bad, and then there's a stage where it's pretty okay and it's managed. I like the stage where it's pretty okay and it's managed. I have reached the stage where it has been okay and managed, and I've seen the way my hair is when it's like that, and I actually really love it like that. So Although trimming was my temporary solution at the time, I realized that for longevity, I just have to be more gentle and more cognizant of the way I'm dealing with and treating my ends if I want to get the desired look I have, as opposed to just trimming endlessly, because it will be a loop and a cycle. So that is something that I've learned. That is advice that I didn't really give advice, but by me doing it, I think people could see that I was doing it, and some might have taken that as a method for them. So that's some advice that I have reevaluated. Don't get me wrong, okay, I will go on another trim binge if I feel like I need to, because my ends look kiki haga, but I know that the deeper solution, that's just a band-aid, that the deeper solution is for me to actually just be gentle and more cognizant of what I'm doing with my ends. Next one I'm gonna throw in there is no shampoo. I know it's made the terrible hair advice list. Why? It's because I've just come to realize at this point in the natural hair game that people have different hair needs. People have different hair goals. People have different scalp conditions. So although someone might have the same texture as me, although their hair might look very similar to mine, no one knows what's really going on beneath the surface except the person with that hair. And I was one of those people that believed, well, if you have somewhat the same type of hair as me, like what I do, you can do too. Like, it works, trust me. And I am a champion for no shampoo. I don't use shampoo myself, but I'm not as much of a champion for it for other people as much as I used to be. Recently, some of you may know, I took up swimming. I don't actually know if swimming is the problem, but it started around the time that I took up swimming. And I have been having like terrible, like unlike me, terrible dandruff in my hair way quicker than it usually would happen. So for me, I could have gone months, not months, okay. Whoa, not months. At least a month with a hairstyle. Let's say like this hairstyle, I could go a month with it, and yes, I would know that there's buildup, and I could see buildup if I really scratched and looked under my fingernail. But in terms of like visible dandruff, that would not be my issue. That was just not my ministry. Now, hey! Hey! This style has not even been in for a month. Maybe 3 weeks. I have to actually do the math on that. Perhaps 3 weeks, and I can see like visible flakes. It's a thing for me now. I hate it here. I hate it here so much. I've also realized that whatever's going on with me, that's my own thing. But there are people that actually have like chronic, you know, dandruff things. Like, it's just not the simple, easy, don't use shampoo and you're fine. Like, they have to use certain medicated shampoos, and it's just a lot more that goes into it than I was taking into account. For majority of people, I'm sure maybe no shampoo wouldn't be a big deal. I do think there's a huge subset of people that that no shampoo is just not feasible. So even though I give that advice because I love a co-wash, babes, I love a co-wash, I do understand that for the buildup and for the dandruff and scalp conditions that some people have, no shampoo might not actually be beneficial. But the facts still remain the facts, honey, okay? Although I gave that advice, I will stand 10 toes on the fact that shampoo, especially shampoos containing sulfates, are stripping. Especially foaming shampoos tend to be stripping. It is going to strip your hair, and it is going to make it more dry, so you will have to focus on deep conditioning and getting that moisture back into the hair. This next one, I've never given this advice, but I've heard it floating around, and I don't want to say it's terrible advice because I don't know, because I haven't used it or tried it, but the no shampoos, no butters. What's that about? Why it made this list, despite me not having actual bad experiences with it, is just because of pure reservation. I have reservations around the idea of not using oils or butters. One of which is obvious, I use a hair oil on my scalp, but that notwithstanding, there was a period of time in the way beginning of my natural hair journey that I was not really using oils on my scalp like that anyway. And my hair was still thriving, it was still doing well. It was when I went through setbacks that I started incorporating the oil because I wanted some more, you know, help getting things going in the speed that I wanted them to go. So I know that hair can do what it needs to do without oil to the scalp. Obviously our scalp produces a natural oil. Love that for us. Where I'm confused is with the fact that our hair is curly hair, and although with straight hair strands, that oil, that sebum produced on the scalp can travel down the hair strand for obvious reasons because it's straight. With curly or coarse kinky hair, it cannot travel down because there's too much coils for it to make it all the way down the end. So I'm trying to figure out how exactly, if we're not able to have our natural oils get to the bottom of the strand, how exactly no butters and no oils in the hair routine makes sense. Just like, I'm just trying to understand it from a theoretical point of view. That's what I'm trying to understand. That's my reservation with it. That's why it's on this list. For me personally, I do protective styles. You guys know I love 2-strand twists. That's my jam. That's where I live. For me, in order for the style to last a long time without me having to overly moisturize, therefore making the style more frizzy, therefore making the style not last and look as good and as neat as it can look for as long as possible, I have to deep condition. I have to put in a leave-in conditioner. I have to put in, obviously, water, creams, but I have to have a butter or an oil to seal that all in, to make it last as long as possible and to stay as moisturized as possible. Now, as someone that does use hair oils and heavier creams, I just like thicker creams. That works better for my hair. Twists my hair for 2 weeks before I do a twist out. I can tell you that even on the lazy days, even on the lazy periods of time when I have not gone back in to re-moisturize my hair like I should, when I take those twists out to do my twist out, I can clearly still feel all the moisture that is still on my hair strands. Now, once I do a twist out, honey, that disappears in like 2-3 days in the air. It's gone, and I have to definitely like wash my hair because it's time. It gets really dry quick when it's out. But in the 2-strand twist, that moisture is really locked in, and I feel that the reason it's more locked in like that is because of the fact that it's sealed in with something. Now, of course, I could be wrong because I have never not had some kind of sealant situation going on. And I don't know if I want to live in a world where I do. But I am curious if you have tried that, your experiences. Please let me know. Obviously, it made this list. It's a bit controversial, you know, to shake the table a little bit. But I actually don't have anything against it because I don't know. So those of y'all that have tried it, please let me know what exactly it has done for you and why you feel that it is beneficial. If you have negative experiences with it, also let me know down below. I'm curious about the people that don't wash their hair like every week, because I think people that wash their hair once a week, they could perhaps get away with not having, you know, a sealant because you're going to re-moisturize pretty frequently. But for those of us that like to carry our hairstyles for a longer time, I'm curious about the no oils, no butters, if that is something that is able to be sustained for a long period of time without having your hair dry out, or without having to re-moisturize it like every 3-4 days. This last one I'm throwing in here because I mention this all the time. The inversion method. Here's the thing, Skip.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Although I mentioned the inversion method, and although it is going to be on this list, I still do it, okay? I just cannot be sure or certain that it actually makes a difference. It might just be a placebo. It might just be something in my head that I think does something, but I don't know if there's any actual science behind it working, to be honest. For those that don't know, the inversion method is just basically turning your head upside down so that the blood is rushing to your skull, your scalp. It's said to increase blood flow to the hair, to the scalp, to the hair follicles, and that will increase or help with hair growth in that area. I don't know that to be true per se, but whenever I use my hair oil to put on my scalp and massage, I definitely do the inversion method, and I always mention it in my videos when I'm talking about my oil, because that's what I do, and I'm trying to tell y'all everything I do. Like, I use the same oil you use, and I also want to tell you the method that I do. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but I just do it all the time. So I feel the need to mention it. I'm gonna put it on this list because it just might be something that is a placebo. It might be something that does absolutely nothing. The worst advice, probably, maybe, who knows, but it's funny because I still do it. Again, going to show that even us here on the internet, the hair gurus, which I don't consider myself, we're trying things, trial and error. We're doing things that may be pointless at the end of the day, but it just makes us feel like we're doing something, and that's what it's all about. So I'm very curious to know down below things that you think have been terrible advice that have been given by natural hair people, whether it's gurus, whether it's just a girl that you know at work that has really nice natural hair and she gives you advice, whether it's people that don't have natural hair but they're still telling you how to work with your natural hair. Let me know. Terrible natural hair advice, terrible hair advice in general. Very, very curious. And that is going to be it for this video. Nice, short, and sweet. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, please. Trying to get that engagement up. The likes really do help. I have a TikTok if you're interested in me doing some mad things on there. Mad things. A lot of hair content on there still. I also have an Instagram if you're interested in that. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Mwah.